On today's video, we're going to be looking at one of my most recent PC purchases that I got off Facebook Marketplace. Now this is a $400 gaming PC build. Well, it was initially $400, but I'll go into why I ended up getting it for a bit cheaper, for $50 less, at 350 Australian dollars that is. So I'll have the price in US dollars pop up on the screen for you now. But here in Australia, it's a pretty good price. It's pretty low end, so this is a pretty low end system, but I think I got a pretty good deal for it. And one of the biggest factors about it is its upgradability. So while it still has pretty low parts, it is a Ryzen based system with a B450 motherboard. So that definitely makes it very suitable for upgrading. And so I'm either going to try and upgrade this in the future with some different parts, or I'll look at changing a few things around, fixing it up and selling it to make a bit of a profit. So let's get into opening up this PC. So I'll just take this side panel off for you guys. So here's the PC itself. See that? So it's in a deep cool Tesseract case actually. So it's a blue one, which isn't a bad budget option for a case. But yeah, so that's the case we have. I think it's about $80 Australian new, so nothing too crazy, but it's a decent budget case. Comes with this one fan in the back, and that's about it. I've put another fan in the front there, just to make things a bit cooler. But yeah, as I said, this is a budget build, so nothing too crazy. So what else we have in this system? The heart of the system, we have a Ryzen 2200G APU. So that's a second gen Ryzen APU, so it has built-in graphics, unlike a lot of the mainstream Ryzen processors. So it goes alright. It's a pretty, it's not a super fast chip, but it can be overclocked pretty well. And then here, on top of that processor, we have the Cooler Master Hyper T4 cooler, which is actually not a bad budget cooler. Goes alright, and yeah, it's definitely an upgrade over the stock cooler, especially for these lower end Ryzen parts. So I'll just get a bit more sunlight. If you can see in there, next to the cooler, we just have a bit of RAM. So we have 16 gigs of RAM. It's buried underneath that cooler. So as you can see, yeah, back there, got 16 gigs of RAM. It's Corsair Vengeance. It's pretty budget RAM. It's only 2400 megahertz, which, to be honest, isn't great for Ryzen. However, you can overclock it. I've managed to get about 200 megahertz out of it, so to about 2600. However, ideally, if I do eventually upgrade the processor, I will be getting different RAM and selling this stuff. But it's still 16 gigs of RAM, so that's decent. And yeah, that'll be great for gaming and doing other stuff while gaming. And what else we've got in here is a MSI GTX 1050 Ti. Now this is where the story of buying this PC gets a bit more interesting. Originally, I was meant to have a 6 gigabyte 1060 gaming G1 from Gigabyte. However, when I got to pick up the place, I noticed something was a bit off. He had the box for a different graphics card, but when I looked inside, I could clearly tell that it was this MSI card, as you can see. And so I'm glad I caught it, because I ended up saving $50 by letting the person know. I think it was an unintentional mistake, but I could have been caught out pretty easily, and there's not much you can do on Facebook Marketplace after you leave the sale. So we ended up saving $50, which is alright. If I had known previously, I probably would have tried to haggle a bit more off the price, but that was on the spot and that was the best I could do. But I'm still happy with the 1050 Ti for now, which should be able to sell or just keep around as a spare graphics card when I do eventually upgrade. But this will let me game at 1080p reasonably well. And yeah, on medium to low settings, but still decent. And so the power supply we have powering this is a Corsair VS450. It's a 80 plus, actually no, it's not 80 plus rated, but it's just a pretty low end basic power supply. So if I did end up getting a beefy graphics card, we'll have to upgrade this eventually. But as I said, this is a budget system, so for this price, having any power supply is fine, and it's from Corsair, so it's a reputable brand, so it's not going to set my house on fire. And finally, for storage, up in the front here, we do actually have 3 drives. So we've got 2 SSDs up here and one 3.5-inch mechanical hard drive. So these aren't exactly what came with the system. Originally it was just this 120 gig, I believe it's a Kingston, very budget SSD. So it's nothing crazy and a pretty slow drive, to be honest. And so I've added some drives myself, as this is the only desktop I have at the moment. So from my previously sold desktop. So we have currently in there a 250 gig 850 Evo SSD, which is the boot drive at the moment. Then I've just got that 128 gig SSD just for games I'm playing at the moment, if I want them a bit faster. And here we have a 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda 7200 RPM hard drive, which is just for all my bulk storage, which I don't really need at the moment because I've got a server running, which I keep all my files on. So everything's sort of offloaded, which I'll do a video on that at some point in the future. So look forward to that, and subscribe if you're keen to hear about that. But at this stage, this just gives me a bit of extra storage on the PC. So what did actually come with it when I bought the PC? So I'll grab out the drive. So it actually came with this 2 terabyte Seagate hard drive. If you can see that, that's just 2 terabyte. It's a bit slower. I believe it's a 5400 RPM drive, so nothing fancy, but it is a 2 terabyte hard drive at least, so it'll do for bulk storage, and for that kind of stuff you don't really need anything crazy. So this is just an overview of this budget PC I found on Facebook Marketplace. So there are definitely still some good deals available for PCs at the moment, especially in Australia where prices are pretty crazy. So and I guess this video can be used as a warning when you're buying stuff off Marketplace or any seller sites like Gumtree or Craigslist in America. Be careful of the prices and the components are matching what was described in the listing. And especially with PCs where there's a bunch of different components, make sure to check that you know what's actually in the computer before you leave. So if there is something wrong, you can either back out of the sale or make price adjustments based on that. So I might be doing a few videos on this in the future. I'll be definitely be doing some other computer related videos in the future, so look forward to those. And I might even do a setup tour once I clean things up a bit in my setup. So look forward to those, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're keen for more videos. Alright, thanks guys, see you later.